All right. I think we're live, my guy.
What's going on?
How you doing?
Hanging out, man.
Yeah,
Living
yeah.
the life, living the dream, whatever
Yeah,
that
that
means.
I mean, I guess it means what we want it to mean, or at least it's supposed to. All right. So what is that?
You're living life.
Yeah. We're working on it, right? This
We're
is
working on it.
This is a part of that.
Exactly.
This is a part of that. So, all right. It's been a while since we've spoken.
Yes.
Where do you want to start? We can start with F1.
Let's start with F1.
Okay. So there've been what, 3 races since we last spoke?
Yeah, so I think we had Miami,
Yeah.
Monaco,
Yes. And then
Spain.
Yes. No, I
Then
feel like there's
one more.
Canada.
Yeah.
We have, bro. All
It's
right.
been 4 races.
So, all right, I'll start it off.
Okay.
Is George Russell cooked?
You know, I thought Spain would be a chance for him to come back.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, like from what I've seen, George is better at high speed. So I thought, hey, the high speed track, maybe he would
High dig.
Yeah,
whisperer.
so George would come back into his element after being at some shorter tracks with some sharper turns and things like that, some more low speed stuff. But I just think Kimi's probably just better at this car than George is. The kid, and it's just like Verstappen was when he was young. Like the amount of growth they experience at a young age is just like exponential.
Yeah,
it's not like I went from like 1 and then I went to 3. It's like I go from 1 to 8.
Yes.
So yeah, he might be cooked, man.
I feel like if George Russell does not win this title, I think Mercedes kicks him to the curb.
Oh yeah. Well,
they're going to go get Max.
This is probably the reason why Toto. Look, I think we don't know what the F1 managers know.
Mm-hmm.
They see all the simulator data, and see all the testing data and things like that. Somebody had probably at some point was like, yeah, Kimi's probably just as fast, if not faster. He just needs the experience. And at this point, that's probably why Toto was very hesitant. You remember last year, they couldn't sign a contract. They're going back and forth. And Toto was like, oh, don't worry. We're going to get this done. But in the background, everybody was like, oh, he's probably talking to Verstappen at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think
this was like the feeler year for both Mercedes and Max.
Yes.
Because Max is like, if Red Bull delivers a car, I'll stay.
Right.
And Mercedes is like, honestly, I think it's on Max more so than Mercedes. Because I truly think that even if George Russell wins this title, first of all, it's not going to be by a lot.
Right.
But I could still see Max replacing him. If he wins the title the same way that Lando won last year, like kind of scrappy.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
It's a wrap.
And then Max needs a car. I mean, let's be real.
Mercedes has one.
Mercedes has a car. Red Bull's got a good engine. They don't have a good car.
They do not have a good car.
And Max is now nearing 30.
Yep.
He's always been kind of iffy on, I'm going to leave F1 and everything. Hey, if you're going to make your career limited and say maybe he has in his head, he's like, I'm going to stop at 35. Yeah. Well, you've only got 8 years left and cars don't come by every year, right?
No, they don't.
So you got to start making a decision now.
Yeah, man. Damn. Shout out to George Russell. I think
don't get me wrong. In the right car, he can win a championship. But just like I was saying right before we started, there's probably a group of 10 drivers. If you put them in the right car for them.
Who are those 10? Or at least write off a couple of them that you mean.
I think everybody who's in the top 4 teams could win a championship. So that would be Kimi, George, Lewis, Leclerc. Well, okay, not Hadjar. I probably wouldn't put Hadjar there yet. But Verstappen, Lando, Piastri, they could all win one. And then you got the guy on the outside. You could probably say...
I still think Fernando has it.
You could probably say Alonso. You can say Sainz.
You think Sainz could win a title?
In the right car. He'd have to be in a car that is... And I've watched enough of his career. If he is in a car that is perfect for him, he's extremely fast. Problem is, really isn't a car that, works perfectly for him.
So you don't think like somebody like Gasly or Hulkenberg?
No,
you don't think they could. You don't think they could win a title?
I don't think they could win a title.
Ocon.
I don't think they could. They don't have the consistency. Like on their day, they're extremely quick.
Yeah.
Like Gasly, Gasly on his day is just as fast as anybody else when he's on his day. But
I think Checo could win a title. I mean, you could argue he had the car, but he didn't really. I mean, that car was very pointy, and like nobody else could drive that car either. Yeah. And Checo honestly did the best job of everybody that preceded him.
Yeah. So again, if you're in the right car, I think a lot of these guys theoretically could win the championship. Absolutely.
Well,
but that window is bigger for other drivers, and like Max and Lewis, the intangibles are so high. They just you can't.
They could. I mean, look at this.
And then Lando won, so I mean,
Lando won, but it wasn't like a definitive. Like you look at some of Lewis's titles, you look at some of Max's titles, you look at like the titles from the greats,
right?
Like they all had like a definitive title. The only caveat I'm saying folks who had multiple titles.
Yeah.
The only caveat might be Senna, and that's because Senna's always had a world champion teammate for the most part, right? Like I think so.
Well,
not he had Lotus, but at McLaren,
he had Berger as his teammate for a lot of those years. And, I mean, don't get me wrong, Berger was a really quick driver. Yeah, I just wouldn't put him like top of the top, but he's probably in that same range, just like I was talking about, like
Gasly or somebody like.
No,
that.
I'd probably put him higher than them. I think he today, if you were like, hey, I'm going to port him over, he's in that top 10.
Okay.
Group. So he was good. He just wasn't Prost.
I mean, history tells us
or what's the other guy?
During that era, you had Senna, Prost,
Mansell. Yeah. I wouldn't put him on the level of Mansell either.
Yeah. Mansell drove with conviction.
Yeah.
Ever watch some of those old races like Mansell? Like yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. So I think we're kind of in agreement that I don't see George coming out of this. I'm not saying he won't win the title. There's still a long way to go. And if I had to put – Kimmy's been doing really well.
Yeah.
George did have some bad luck too.
Yeah.
But at the same time, last race, Kimmy passed him on merit before his car blew up.
He did. And that's what was kind of telling me. That's what I thought. I was like, oh, you know what? Maybe George will recover and he'll have a better race. And he did out-qualify. I mean, he did have a pretty good qualifying.
Yeah, by 3/10.
But – yeah, Kimi was on his tail, and he came back he was like 6 seconds back, and he still came back on him. So, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Kimi is definitely delivering so far. Like we haven't seen him crack. But again, you mentioned it before with Piastri. We thought that Piastri was going to run away with the title. Yeah. Midway through, he crumbled.
Yeah.
Last year's title was Piastri's to lose.
Yeah. And really Kimi's still like 19. So
imagine
when that
Kimi
pressure gets
5
on
years
him,
from now.
Yeah. Oh no, he'll be set. But my thing is,
I get what you're saying.
The pressure is going to get to him eventually.
Yeah.
It's just inevitable. Most people are not equipped at that age to do. You can win a couple of races, you're out front, but this is the beginning of the season, So
all right,
guys.
So all right,
something to watch.
Oh, yeah, I'm excited, man. I can't wait for it. We got a doubleheader coming up.
Yeah.
We got Austria, and then we have Silverstone. So.
Ooh, Silverstone. Although Red Bull Ring, Max should usually be up there.
Yeah, because, like, the smaller tracks that are, like, less chassis dependent,
right?
I feel like Max is still Max. I mean, he almost got pulled in Monaco.
Yeah, he did.
I think any track where bad weather, I think Max is still going to be a force.
Yeah.
Especially if the bad weather's during qualifying.
Yeah.
Can't count him out.
Yeah.
I think Lewis is also still pretty good in the wet.
Yeah. And Ferrari's got upgrades coming. They got an engine upgrade coming.
Boy. I'm excited to see. So before we talk about Lewis and that that definitive drive, I'd say, or his comeback drive. I want to talk a little bit about Leclerc.
Okay.
Is Leclerc cooked?
Leclerc's not cooked.
Okay.
I think.
Why do you say that?
I think he's since Monaco and he had that brake issue, something's been a little bit off with him in the car, and it wasn't before. So something changed at that Monaco race and I know Lewis changed his brakes and he changed his setup, and Leclerc was like, I guess I need to move over to Lewis's setup or something.
Lewis was like, so, you know what? I've been doing things this one way. I'm going back to the old way, like no sim or whatever, just doing his own thing.
So I don't know. Ferrari is one of those weird teams where drivers' input actually, or their changes to the cars can actually impact drivers significantly. Like I saw Leclerc and Sainz was the same way.
Yeah.
Like you would see the car vacillate in season between each driver. So it might come back to Leclerc eventually. It might be next race. I don't know.
Back. Yeah, so I don't think Leclerc is cooked either. Yeah. Maybe we could just use that for like some clickbait kind of. Yeah. I'll edit that out. But I don't think he's cooked. You know, if you look at all of Leclerc's seasons, even back when he was teammates with Vettel, like he's always been on the ragged edge. Always. And so like it's one of the reasons why I love seeing him qualify.
Yes.
But every season there's a couple of races where he's in the wall.
Yeah.
In the same way that maybe Max, Lewis, some of the others aren't. Right. You know, and he's just on the ragged edge all the time.
Yeah.
And so like he will undoubtedly bounce back.
Yeah.
Like I'm not.
But I think the thing people were expecting is, okay, you just signed this big new contract. You're il predestinado. You're that guy at Ferrari.
For sure.
And you're still doing, don't get me wrong, Leclerc
2022 stuff.
Yeah, but stuff is still happening that you don't expect from a super top 2, top 3 driver, you know.
As far as like raw pace. Yeah. I think he's one of the quickest on
absolutely. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
But at the same time, you remember 2022? Yeah. He could have fought Max for the title. Yeah. At least first half of the season. And
some stuff happened. Some of it was his fault. Some of it was Ferrari's fault.
Yeah, I think
I can't really fault him for that. They had
some reliability issues, but he was also doing the most.
Yeah. But that's been his whole career. It's either boom or bust.
Yeah.
You know? Most of the time it's boom. Yes. But then his busts are really big busts.
Yeah,
they're
pretty spectacular. Yeah. I mean, yeah, he is one to like pull a tractor to pole, and then have no race pace. Exactly. But that just means that he's super quick.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah.
So, all right, yeah, I think we're also in agreement there.
Yeah.
All right, so we can talk about the GOAT real quick.
Yeah, let's talk about your boy Lewis. So, let me first admit that I thought Lewis was cooked.
Yes.
I thought this man had lost it last season. And I get it. There was a new team. They never got along with the ground effect cars. They just never worked for him. And that car was trash, but he was getting wrecked. And so, and then the stuff that was happening to him during races was just uncharacteristic of him. And I was like, you know what? You are 40 years old. That stuff happens when you get old. Things just stop working.
Much, man.
Yeah, you've done so, but things just stop working. But I will fully admit this season he looks like old Lewis. And I'm happy to see it.
Yeah, he really does. And I don't think there's anybody that's a bigger Lewis fan than me. And I had to go back and watch old, like after the season ended. I usually watch old F1 stuff. I watch like a whole season just to like, I love the sport.
Yeah.
And I had to remind myself, like, I had to go back and watch rookie Lewis go toe-to-toe with Alonso, or Lewis drag that doo-doo-ass McLaren around the track in, like, 2009, 2010.
Right.
He was still getting podiums. He was still winning races.
Right.
And that car was not good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, but he was still there. He was still in the mix.
Right.
And you could just see him kind of bang out these magic laps, or you see how good he was in the wet, or anytime there was a crazy or chaotic race, he would just he would attack that,
Yeah.
And and of course you have the 2020s where he more or less dominated, he and Max. The early 2020s, I mean, but like 2018, 2019, you're like, forget about it.
Yeah, he's
like
Lewis.
Peak Lewis.
But
like
basically,
you forget when you look at comments and then you remember the seasons without watching, you're like, Mercedes had a rocket ship and he was just running, or he was just beating his teammate.
Right.
But then when you go back and watch some of the races, you're like, dude was very aggressive. He was Max.
But he was pulling stuff off that nobody else could do.
He would do like whatever he needed to do. He would do.
Yes.
If Bono was like, hey, I need you to meet this lap target every lap, no matter what, he would do it.
Right. Hey, I need you to go 50 laps on a set of hards. Okay. All right. Fine. Let's go.
And that's what I forgot.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that he didn't forget, because it would have been easy for him to just be like, man, maybe
it's me, but I think I have to also give him credit for, he knows what he wants in a car, and Ferrari had to be open-minded enough to listen to him. Ferrari typically doesn't listen to anybody. These guys ask for all sorts of different stuff every year, and Ferrari comes back with something totally different that they weren't expecting. And this year, I think they got it spot on. It was something that both of the drivers are like, okay, I can work with this. And that rarely happens for Ferrari. Lewis was like, hey, I need these changes made. I got to listen to the guy, man. I mean, it's like, hey, those 7 championships count for something,
The win was definitive, though. Yeah. It wasn't a just pure strategy. I feel like when he was out front, he was pumping in those laps to make a statement.
Yeah,
that's what
absolutely.
I think. Not just for himself, but also for his team. Yeah, to make sure that they believe hey, you guys didn't bringing me over to Ferrari wasn't a fumble.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. We do have to give Ferrari some credit, though.
We have to give them.
They got a good strategy call.
Of the credit.
Yeah, it was a good strategy call.
And historically, they wouldn't have made that call. They would have done something insane. We're on a six-stop strategy or some shit.
So they did make a good call, but you're right. When he got out front, he was putting in fastest laps. Nobody was catching him.
He was, So George, I think, and even maybe Kimi said that he would have come through anyway.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know, but he had the pace too.
Yeah.
It was really cool to see. See him back out.
He looked good. He looked good. So let's see if it continues. Like I said, Ferrari's got some upgrades coming. I don't think it's going to bring their engine on par with Mercedes and Red Bull, but they might not have to. I mean, it seems like they have the chassis that is just as good, if not better than everybody else's.
They definitely have the chassis, and they have 2 really, really, really good drivers.
Yeah.
I'd say I don't know, is that the best? Does Ferrari have the best pairing? Because
I would say so.
It's a pretty good pairing too.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they're at the level they're at right now. Yeah. Last year I couldn't say that.
Yeah. Well.
But this year, I could say they're the best.
Yeah. I mean, last year people were dogging Lewis, but they really should have just been dogging Ferrari.
Yeah.
Because Leclerc didn't win anything either.
No.
At all.
No.
He got pole once or twice.
Yeah. He had a few podiums. But the car was crap in general. It's just bad car.
Oh, dude. Yeah, bad car. I like that.
It is what it is. And Ferrari is known for every 3 to 4 years, they'll just turn out some piece of crap. That's just what they do.
It's like at the beginning of every regulation, they are there.
Right.
And then they slowly regress. You saw it with Vettel as well. You saw it with Leclerc.
Right.
You saw it with Vettel.
Yeah.
They come out strong, super strong. Was it 2018, 2019?
2017. 2018. They were good.
It was Lewis and Vettel.
Lewis and Vettel. Out. And then you had, then you got the 2022.
Yeah. Yep.
And they were right there.
Mm-hmm.
New regs, now 26. They're right there. Yeah. So now you have to be worried about next year. Next year is always next year for Ferrari, but
I wonder if it's more so the other teams catching up. Because same thing happened to Aston Martin. I was on that Fernando hype train hard. I'm like, I wanted Fernando to win one so bad. Well, 2023.
Yeah. And there's something weird happening in that organization. Now I get this one because everybody got there late. Newey got there 3 months late.
Yeah, he did.
Honda was like, oh, we're coming out of retirement, so we're late on developing the engine.
Mm-hmm. This is a throwaway season for them.
Yeah, this is basically a throwaway season. Yeah, which is embarrassing to me.
Yeah. Cadillac is actually not doing bad, but it is still kind of embarrassing.
I mean, but you're a first-year team. They shouldn't be beating you. Mm-hmm. Aston spent hundreds of millions. They got a brand new factory. They got, all this new equipment, the best designers, whatever.
Yeah.
Hey, man, you can't. if I'm Lawrence Stroll, I'm looking at these guys like I might as well just fire you all again. I might as well just start back over again.
Just start, clean house.
Yeah.
So speaking of the Stroll family, there's never any sympathy for Lance. And so on one hand, bro, you have to be
sympathy for Lance.
You have to be somewhat decent to be on grid.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And he has out-qualified Alonso like once, twice.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
But like nobody talks about Lance Stroll, bro, like at all whatsoever.
What's there to talk about?
Well,
I mean, look,
he's still
Lance is Lance.
Maybe I'm reaching, but like
we're now in like year 8 or 9. And Lance has been on the grid. At this point, he is what it is. You know, he's not going to show any like crazy pace. When it rains, he tends to overperform.
Yeah.
But most of the time, the dude's just sitting at the back, just chilling, you know?
I mean, do you think people look at, so if his father wasn't Lawrence Stroll, the owner of the team, right? Like, do you think he would have been kicked out?
Yeah.
Or he would have been off grid
a long time ago. He
came in with Williams, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember what year that was?
It was like 17 or 18. One of the two.
And I felt like that was like right as Williams was like, they were midfield still.
Yeah.
And
they were on their way down.
I can't remember if he won a race or he was on the podium. It was something.
He was on podium.
Like the first couple of races, he was like.
He won a podium in one of those races. I do remember that.
And then, but he ain't been back since, I guess. But he also hasn't really had.
No.
He hasn't. I mean, he also had. I'm trying to be sympathetic to Lance, bro. It's like
there's nothing much. I mean, he hasn't
had a car.
You are a good driver if you can get on the F1 grid and you can be on pole and you can get a podium. Okay, and he's done all of that. Right?
He's at pole.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
For real? Okay.
It was in the rain. That's what I'm saying. He always overperforms in the rain. Like he's legitimately fast. He's legitimately quick in the rain.
Okay.
So I do remember he was on pole one time because I remember because Lando looked up at the scoreboard and he was like, "What the fuck?" He was like, "No way." He was like, "There's no way." They're like, "Yeah, Lance Stroll on pole." Yeah, but when you're an F1 driver, to me, you have to have a couple of races where you show like
why you are.
Yeah, you are turning. You know, hey, you are outperforming the car, quote unquote.
Yeah,
you're turning faster, loud. You're just blazing your teammate. Mm-hmm. But he never. And granted, he's next to Alonso. But even then, this is a 45-year-old Fernando Alonso. You should be going toe to toe with him.
You should be beating him the way Nico Rosberg was beating Schumacher when they were both at Mercedes.
Yeah, exactly.
So who was Lance's teammate before? When Fernando was still at Alpine. Oh, Vettel. Yeah, Vettel.
Yeah, Seb.
And then at Williams, was it Sainz? Who was with it? No, Sainz wasn't at Williams at the time.
No, that was it was that Russian guy. I forgot his name.
Oh, I know. Not Mazepin. What's
his name? Sirotkin, I think it was. Something like that. But then he was next to Checo.
Checo
at Racing Point.
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
And he did okay against Checo.
Okay.
But again, you gotta show that elite turn at some point, you know?
Yeah, and you feel like he's just been pretty flat.
Yeah. That's Ocon's problem too now.
Look, that's one driver that's never really impressed me. Like
I think he's a good driver, but
he's all right.
He's been getting his butt kicked by a rookie basically all last year. Behrman wrecked him last year.
I feel like he was held in higher regard than he should have been because his teammate was Magnussen. And Magnussen had flashes of being really quick, but was just wildly inconsistent in my opinion.
But he was good against Alonso. He was pretty quick against Alonso. And then he was good against Checo too. Checo's kind of your like they had all those battles. They that 1 year
they didn't like each other.
Yeah, they didn't like each other. But Checo's kind of like your benchmark, your yardstick kind of. But yeah, I don't know. That's kind of the same thing with him now. He's not showing that like, hey, I'm going to take control of this race and I'm I'm that guy anymore.
Nah.
So I think he's at high risk for being kicked off the grid too.
Yeah, I think one of these young guys I think they're going to take his spot.
Yeah.
So, all right, last F1 question.
All right.
Because the Mercedes are still one of the Mercedes drivers, I would say, are still the favorite.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems quite clear that they are going to be splitting these wins and splitting these points.
Mm-hmm.
Are we looking at 2007 all over again, where Fernando Alonso and Lewis pretty much split all the points, which is what allowed Kimi Räikkönen to win that title?
I guess it could happen.
I mean, as long as Lewis stays in the mix.
Yeah, if he's consistently in that top 3. But again, if Leclerc comes back,
they're just going to split the points again.
They'll just split the points again. Then that won't happen.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's the only thing. But if Lewis is like consistently staying out front, and they might do it. They might be like 10 races in. They're like, you know what? We're just going to back Lewis.
No, I could not see Ferrari turning their back on Leclerc.
They've never done that, but they could. They've never done it, but they could.
You really think? Nah, bro. I would be genuinely surprised.
I would be too.
Genuinely surprised.
But it's a possibility. There's always a possibility.
So, all right. So we can transition over to anyway, before the last F1 point, I think this is shaping up so far to be a pretty fun season. Even though Mercedes has won all the races but one, it doesn't feel like 2020, like 2023 or 2024. No. Max won. What did he win? Like 10 in a row.
Yeah,
he won 18, 19 races that year. Yeah, you're just like
everybody was kind of bored.
Yeah,
and not only that, the cars didn't. The cars were at first were a problem, but I think whatever tweaks they made seemed to have worked.
Yeah.
They seemed to. Again, we were very down on them.
Yeah,
last time we talked, but
because they were clipping like the high speed stuff, where we love to see they would just clip.
Yeah, but now they seem like the drivers seem to be okay with it now. Everybody seems to have gotten used to it. I'm sure F1 was probably like, that's exactly what we were expecting. You guys will get over it eventually.
Want to see that yo-yo?
Yeah. So, yeah, I think good season so far.
All right. Yeah, I agree. So, all right, general car talk. All right. So I got a question for you.
All right.
What was one of your high school dream cars, and did you ever get it?
High school dream car was Terminator Cobra. And no, I never got one.
Funny.
Terminator Cobra was to me was the baddest car at the time. There was no competing against that car to me.
That's so funny.
What about you?
Mine was, it depends on when in high school.
Okay.
Because early on, it was a Terminator Cobra as well. The 0304 Cobra, I love, I love Mustangs, blah, blah, blah. But when they put that supercharger on that New Edge Mustang, bro, and they cleaned up the bumpers and stuff, and it was just that car was majestic, bro. It defined my whole childhood.
Yeah.
No, I never owned one. But in late 2005, 2006, C6Z06 came out. I was still in high school. That was also my dream car for sure.
Yeah.
Carbon fiber panels, aluminum chassis, LS7, 427, cubic inch V. Oh my God, bro. I remember I worked at Publix in Cartersville, and the guy, I think I told you this, the guy bought one, a yellow one from Days Chevrolet.
Mm-hmm.
And long story short, I ended up carrying his bags out. And he heard me talking to the cashier about cars.
Mm.
And so he let me start it up and rev it up. And I'm a 16-year-old kid. You could have told me that was a UFO and I would have, And those two.
Yeah. No, I think I can agree. The C6Z was on my list too. Probably not as high as the Cobra, but the C6Z was there.
C6Z was diabolical. I remember seeing YouTube videos of bone stock C6Zs on radios running 1070s.
Yeah. I remember the first time. So I remember the first time I got a ride in one. It was out on Barrett.
Oh yeah, 575.
Yeah, and the guy came out there, and he had it was a dark blue one, 06, and he was he was the first guy I knew. And I remember he uploaded it to YouTube, and he was the first person I found on the internet in general that had headers, long tubes on a C6Z. And I was like, hey, man, can you give me a ride? He's like, absolutely, let's go. And I just remember I've never met this guy in my life and I've never seen him since.
It was like that.
We're up there doing like fourth gear pulls in the C6Z. We were flying.
You're booking the fourth gear in the C6Z. Because let me tell you, a buddy of mine had a funny that we're both of our dream cars are, you know, in the story. Buddy of mine had just bought a Terminator. It was a Red Fire Terminator Cobra, had the Kenny Bell bolt-ons, blah, blah, blah. Supposedly the car made like 600 wheel. My other friend had an 06 Z06, so like the lightest year. And the car had fixed heads, like a Veyron, and I think that was it. Like fixed heads, Veyron. But he had a drag radial on it. And then we're going from a 40-roll, which means C6Z is going to be first gear.
Right.
You know, and I was riding with my buddy, and I was riding the Z06. And would you believe it was neck and neck, like the bone stock C6?
Yeah, I can see that.
I mean, yeah, I don't think the Terminator was making 600 wheel, but like it was a spicy car. So.
Yeah.
And anyway, we were definitely. I know when my buddy went from 4th to 5th, and I looked over, we were boogieing, dog. So when you say you were in 4th on 575,
we were. Yeah. No, and I like, and then that's kind of when, like, I didn't get my experience with those cars till after high school, because then my uncles end up selling their company or whatever, and they started buying all that stuff. But the C6Z definitely like turned into like that platform to be on. Actually, the C5 was too. I mean, there's not much difference in between the two mechanically, but yeah, that's and it's still. I feel like now there seems to be a resurgence. And all the kids now think the C6Z is like the baddest car ever.
It's weird, right? It's like they're discovering.
Yes.
I hate to say it like this, but have you ever met somebody that's kind of like done like bad all their life, and then they like find the Bible for the first time? The way that they talk about it, it's a revelation. It's the same way with, I would say, Corvettes in general. Like Corvettes were always cheap.
Right.
And people like you either knew about them.
Right.
Bro, I remember sitting in class with the guy. He was like, what's your dream car? And at the time, I was like, well, I want a C6Z or a Terminator, but if I can get my hands on the C5 Z06, that'd be great.
Right.
And he's like, you want a Corvette? And I was like, what do you want? He's like, I want a Hawkeye STI, like 06, 07 STI. Cool cars.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, pretty cool. And he was like, yeah, man, the STI would just run circles around the C5 Z06. And I'm like, he's like, yeah, the Corvette's going to be real soft and not handle. And I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
What is like
Corvette stigma for whatever reason? I never.
For a long time. Up until, so what happened? Was it I feel like it was the drifters. Because they're like,
yes, I think that was a big part of it.
I can put an LSD in this car, big brakes. I can LS swap it, do a T56 or whatever, and then you're like, wait, or I can just buy a Corvette that has it in it,
right? And
then just put some angle on it.
I think just in general, American cars getting into drifting, because I remember when drifting got really popular, nobody was using, like, you had a couple of Mustangs and stuff like that.
I mean, you had you had Reese Millen that had a GTO.
Yeah. But the Corvette wasn't there because from the factory, you can't really drift C5 and C. They don't have any angle. They don't get sideways. And when they do get sideways, it's too late.
Not good.
Yeah, it's bad news. Like they're
snappy. They've always been
very snappy. And so I think the guys actually taking a look at the platform and saying, okay, yeah, and hey, actually I can do something with this. Yeah. And then, when cars start to go from first and second owner, where you have to have some money, to guys who are like, dog, you're getting to the guys who are in like their late 20s, early 30s, and they're like, I'm just going to dump all my money into my car and I don't really care about anything else.
Right.
That's when those cult cars start taking over to me. Yeah. That's kind of where the C6Z is at right now. Well, to me, at least.
I feel like it's a wrap on the C6Z, because like now, like influencers and stuff are buying it. And they're ranting, raving about this car that's been out since 2006. And it's like, it only sucks for me because when I got rid of my black one, I'm like, first of all, I love the car to death. But you know me, I can't like sit still for too long. Right. And I'm like, these cars are going to follow the same sort of depreciation curve as C5Zs. Mm-hmm. They're going to be 25 to 35 forever.
I wish.
They made a ton of them. I know I'll be back in one, so I kept my wheels and some other stuff. I just kept it because I'm like, I'm gonna get another C6E.
Right.
Joke's on me. You know what I'm saying? Now I was like, now the same car I bought in 2016 that was 33K is now 43K. And you're like,
it's crazy. It's crazy.
At the same time, I always said that if the C6Z specifically was not a Corvette, it would have been $50,000 forever.
Oh yeah, like I'm looking at these like E90 M3s, and I'm like, okay, E90 M3 was a good car. Don't get me wrong. Only V8 M3, high revving, good handling and chassis and anything. If BMW produced a car with that level of performance,
everything, bro,
that car would still be going for $75,000, $100,000 right now.
That car would be equivalent to the Z8. Is what I think.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it would be in the stratosphere.
Yeah. No, yeah, it could be. It could be.
It would.
Because let's be honest, BMW really hasn't produced a car they've produced like maybe 2 cars with that level of performance since 2006.
What are they?
You have like the most recent M3 CSL.
Badass.
M4 CSL. Yeah. My bad. And then maybe the new M2 CS.
I don't know much about the M2 CS.
That's it.
It's got the S58?
Yeah. Okay, but it's got like 540. Quote unquote 540.
They always
which means it has 600.
Yeah.
Okay.
They always underrate.
That car is
They're
really
like the worst at it.
That car is legitimately, everyone's like low 11s.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
a fast car.
So all that being said, yeah, that would, if it was made by anybody German or whatever, yeah, I mean, look at the GT3s now.
Yeah,
we've been over this before, but
we can talk about it again because they may not see our first.
Yeah, that's true.
Look, when I worked at APR, the CEO bought, and I know people call it the bastard child, which they've also are going through this this resurgence, I guess, of popularity. But he bought a 996 GT3. It was dark blue, had like 50,000 miles on it, and I think he paid like $38,000 for this car. Nobody wanted that, bro. Like nobody cared.
Yeah.
And he just used it to like dog on it. He was like, I didn't want to spend 997 money, which was under 100K at the time. He was like, so I instead of buying a new Camry, I just bought this.
Yeah.
This as in a GT3, bro.
I mean, they've that market has changed so much. And again, you have to get into the wider economy, and you have the people who are wealthy have gotten a lot wealthier. And so Porsche has kind of changed their trajectory to appeal to them.
Yeah.
And so those prices are just going to keep rising. But you're right. That market is crazy. And those cars were not worth that back in the day, what they're worth now.
Even the older ones, like I know that Porsche has kind of changed their mentality, but like even the older cars there really isn't, unless you want like a 986 Boxster, like there really isn't a cheap Porsche.
No.
I mean, like not
like you look
911 or
the mid-engine, rear engine. The 964 turbos are going in the hundreds of thousands.
Multiple, like
993s. I don't even want to talk about them. It's not even worth talking about. NA turbo.
Yeah,
RS, whatever. It doesn't matter. You can't. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Now, all that being said, I did drive one recently. My brother's got a 991 cab base, 3.4 6-speed.
Okay.
But yeah, you start to understand now. We might talk about this later. I just picked up a C7.
We will absolutely. It's on the way.
A 16 C7. But driving that back to back, you can tell, okay, this car is absolutely, the quality levels are high enough to justify this price. We know Porsches make a very good car.
So, so let's talk, before we get into your new purchase, let's talk about like I don't want to talk about a specific price, but maybe like a delta between the two. So like car for car, how much more should a 911 be than a Corvette? And we'll say, we'll just use base to base.
Should?
Yes. So we'll say just a C7 Z51 versus like, you can say 991, 992, whatever, like just C2 Carrera. So you're, because
if it was me and there was no market, it was just like in general, I would probably say about 20 grand.
So for the same car, you should expect, you say that's reasonable to pay $20,000 more for an equivalent 911.
Yeah.
And you'd say like that's fair.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Okay.
I think that's fair. If you drive them, you're like, all right, I can just tell, hey, they spend more, the materials are more expensive, the controls are more responsive, the car is just more refined, blah, blah, blah. All the stuff that, performance guys tend to overlook for the most part.
That's
but it does count. It counts for something.
Yeah, I the older I get, the more it counts. Yeah. Because historically, you see the cars that I have now. Like I don't bare bones. I've never really. I've always prioritized performance. But if you are going to be using the vehicles for the same thing, so spirited driving, occasional, not hardcore stuff, occasional track day, maybe an autocross, things like that, you still think the $20,000 Delta is warranted?
Yeah, I would probably say so. Especially if you're keeping it on the street. Now, you start going to the track, then things start changing a lot because just in general, the Corvette's just a faster, better performing car.
I see.
Equal for equal until you get to about, the GT3, this is kind of why GT3 is so expensive because GT3s don't break.
Yeah.
You can beat on them all. Now, this is where the money starts coming. You can beat on them all day and they're not going to break. Corvette, you got to kind of put some money into it to get them, hey, I can run big power reliably for days on end, basically.
So, okay. So
that was
is
always
that apples to apples though? Because like big power on a Corvette, I feel like you say that because it's easy to make big power on a Corvette. But if you're like, all right, I just want to sling around a stock Corvette versus a stock GT3, is the Corvette as robust?
No.
It's still not.
Until recently, until the C8 Z06.
So C5 Z06, C5 Z06, C6 Z06, C7 Z06, bone stock. They've all kind of had, C5s haven't really.
They all overheat. All of them overheat.
Really?
Yeah.
I know like C6Zs, obviously elephant in the room's valve guides.
Yeah.
C7s had cooling issues because they were supercharged, but C5s didn't really seem to have an Achilles
heel. They overheat. They don't have any cooling. They have no cooling.
Oh, in the front.
They have none.
Yeah.
They have no oil coolers, no trans coolers, no diff coolers, no nothing. And Porsche's always had all that stuff.
Okay.
So that's kind of where that money, and Chevy, to their credit, slowly but consistently has started to catch up until now. You can go out and run a C8 Z06 on track and it's never going to overheat. It's got like 11 radiators or something crazy like that. Like it's impossible. But the older ones, that's, I have to do, for the C5s, like my uncle had a modified C5 and on the lower brake scoops, they ended up putting trans and diff coolers in those scoops.
Okay.
To keep everything cool because they're just going to overheat. You have to put the oil cooler in there. You have to put a new radiator in there, all that stuff. Because, you can go out and beat a C5 Z06 for a pretty long time, but yeah, it's not going to, and then the brakes, C5 Z06 brakes, they're never good. People used to get like just buy AutoZone brakes. Just like swap them out every track day, So that's, to me, that's kind of where Porsche started justifying
the
price difference.
Yeah. Where do you before we talk about your new purchase, where do you slot? This is kind of a wild card.
Yeah.
Where do you slot Vipers in there? And I get up until the GT350, like. Mustang really, it's not really in that category. You got the Cobra R, but like,
yeah. I don't know Vipers because I'm not a big Viper guy.
Okay.
I know the ACRs rarely had any issues or anything like that.
They seem to be robust.
Yeah, they seem to be fine. It's not like the engine's undergoing tons of stress. You don't really have to wind the car out to do anything, right? So, I think I'm sure they have their issues, but as far as I know, they seem to be okay. I've never driven one.
Same.
That's one car that's just never.
It's eluded you.
It's eluded me.
Yeah, I would love to drive or ride in a Viper. Yeah. I sat in a Gen 5 years ago when they were still making them at an auto show. And I had my Z06 at the time, and I just remember the Viper feeling very like there was no space between like my elbow and like the door
Yeah.
sill. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when I got back into my Corvette, I'm like,
Well, the C6 was actually pretty big inside.
Yeah, it was very roomy.
It had a lot of
Very
space.
roomy.
Yeah.
It feels like a sports car until you get into something like a Viper and you're like, oh,
yeah,
they definitely made this car for big Americans.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
All right, let's segue into your new purchase, man. So you picked up something new. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so I bought a 16 Corvette Z51. So, you know, like we've been saying, been looking at C6s, C7s, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't keep driving around the Jetta because it was just sucking the life out of me.
Oh my
and as a car guy, you can't, you know, hey, I bought it, I paid it off. It did its job. It still gets great gas mileage. I drove it today. It's quiet, it's fuel efficient, whatever. But come on, man. We're performance guys. So yeah, I had to go ahead and bite the bullet. And so I had a criteria for this car. It was like, okay, has to be under 40 grand.
Mm-hmm.
Has to be, you know, hey, it has some performance ability, some track ability, things like that. And then I kind of narrowed it down. I actually created a spreadsheet and scored these cars because you know I'm a consultant, so this kind of comes with the territory.
For $5, we're gonna share
and I'll have all the criteria. It's very easy to use. And then C7 came up on top, so I was like, oh yeah, let's go look for C7s. And I found one that kind of fit the criteria. And I went down to Florida. Me and my cousin drove it back, and yeah. Thankfully, it's performed flawlessly, at least mechanically. There's no real big issues. It's got its flaws. Cosmetically, it was a mess, and it's still not the best. But I don't really care. It does the job. It does the job.
So far?
But yeah, no, it's a very good car. And the C7 in general, you know, I've had a good amount of seat time in the base C7 and the C7 Z06, not the Z51, which is kind of weird. Matter of fact, funny story, my uncle bought one of the first C7s, and I think he was one of the first people to put long tubes on it. Rob Harper tuned the car.
That's what's up.
And that car made like, I remember we got on a dyno, it made like 470 at the wheels with just long tubes in the tune.
No
everybody was
way.
like, what the hell? But that car, driving it made all the power.
It felt strong.
Yeah, it was a strong car.
That's a lot.
It was
of
a strong
power
car.
Out of an LT1.
Yeah, it was. I don't know if that car was a freak. You know, we talk about our dyno freaks or whatever.
Yeah, the factory freaks.
Yeah, so
something that died with the forums. We should talk about that.
Yeah, that car was quick, but so I had experience with that and the C7 Z06, but the C7 is a very nice driving car. I mean, we just went out and took it for a spin. I think over the C5 and the C6, it's just more refined. You know, the chassis controls are better. The structure is stiffer. It still feels like a Corvette. You know, if you were to jump in the C5, C6, and C7, you'd be like, okay,
I see where it came from.
I see where it came from. Yeah. But in general, it's a good car. It's a good car.
I definitely thank you for letting me like ride in it and drive it. That was my first time ever either being in like riding in a C7 or driving it. And I can definitely say like, you know, I've owned C5s and C6s, and so I spent a ton of time in them. I mean, I think between the two cars, 11 years of my life was in a Corvette, you know, and I can definitely see the progression. I will say the steering in the C7, granted, obviously I didn't push the car or anything, but just like lugging it around, I like the steering feel. I like the weight.
Yeah.
C6 steering always felt over assisted. C5 steering was better in my humble opinion.
Yeah.
Just in the way it felt, the way it loaded up or whatever. But I really look forward to seeing like how it performs, you know, what you do with it.
Yeah.
Like, I can't wait to hit some events. Like,
yeah, I think the thing I'm trying to focus on, at least over the next couple of months, is just getting it to a good place. You know, right now it's a little bit tired. Some of the pieces are, you know, suspension's a little tired. It's got 58,000 miles on it or so. It's 10 years old, right? So there's some stuff on it that is just going to need some rehab, basically. But like I said, mechanically, I think it's fine. Seems like the engine's strong, transmission's fine.
Feels very strong.
There's no
cowl shake, even with that. Maybe, and again, like I had mentioned, I hadn't been in a C6. Like I had never been in a Corvette with the top off. All the Corvettes I were in had been hardtop cars.
Yeah.
And so, but I had been in. No, maybe I take that back. Maybe my uncle had a C4, like an early C4, and I think I rode in that with the Targa off, and it felt a little flimsy.
Oh yeah,
well, the
of
car
course.
felt a little flimsy anyway. But
C4 is shaking like a stripper. That's kind of their.
That's their thing. So the door seals are so high. You ever seen like you got to step into a C4? Yeah. And I think that's one of the reasons. But no, very impressive, man.
Yeah, that car it's very, very stiff.
So I'm excited to.
Yeah, I'm glad I have it at least. I feel. I'm like, oh, I need to not drive it. But then on the other hand, you're kind of like, what did you buy the car for?
Why
it's not just to sit in the garage. Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of like, I don't want to put too much miles on my good car, type thing. Why do I have another car? I know, exactly.
I feel that though. I mean, the older I get, the more I also find myself like, even if I'm just going to run to the store, 5 years ago, I would have like always been in whatever enthusiast car I had. But lately, it's like, no, I'll just take the Lexus. And it's like I'm saving it or preserving it for something. And I have to tell myself, like, man, you don't just pull the cover off that thing, or you don't just – Evo's still running like shit right now, but I can make it to Kroger.
Right.
I can still hear some turbo sounds. And so it's like, just drive it. Stop being weird.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, man, I can't wait to see you, like, I know you're going to go through the suspension, maybe upgrade the bushings, tidy it up, get like a legitimate alignment.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Hopefully within the next hopefully by fall I'll be done. I don't think it's going to require that much.
Doesn't feel like it at all. It feels like a pretty sorted C6.
Yeah.
Like literally like
yeah. So I would agree.
But I'm telling you, man, you're putting so much pressure on me to get back to the Corvette game. I've always had half a foot in anyway because I love those cars. And so now it's like,
now you got to figure out what you're going to do with the fleet, man.
I know, right? Davian's like, look, you can downsize, just get you one car that works. Everybody's happy. And I'm like, you're not wrong.
She's got a point.
You're not wrong at all. Part of it is I'm a glutton for punishment. The other part is I just love Evos. I love the lineage and the homologated history. But I will say, then we can move on. The Evo in general is like one of my dream cars. So honorable mention in high school would have been the Lancer Evolution 9, which was 06, which was new when we were in high school. But the particular Evo I have is not my dream Evo, but I do always plan to kind of have an Evo.
Right.
So my perfect garage, I'd have probably a Corvette or maybe a Viper if I like those, and an Evo. Like those two.
That's fair.
You're not going to hear much from me.
That's fair.
So if I do get rid of this one to like downsize for now to get a Corvette or something else, the next car I buy is going to be another Evo, probably.
I feel like the only way to combine them is to get something like an M3 or something.
To combine both?
Yeah, right?
Well,
if you were like to combine an Evo and like a Corvette.
Yeah, no? Yes and no. The car that I was thinking would have been like another car I've kind of been looking at.
Yeah.
And I'll probably get a Corvette over this car, especially with what you and I are trying to do, but a V7 RS4. The V8.
Yeah, you know what? I was about to say that. Yeah.
So they're kind of high strung. You still get all the V8 vibes. They're a little more refined.
You got to find a good one, though. Yeah, I heard they were like some maintenance monsters. Though.
No, the RS4s are okay.
Okay.
The S4s are like kind of terrible.
Yeah.
You still have to deal with like that era of like Audi electronics and weird shit, weird stuff. But also, because they didn't make so many, like I'll have to source parts from like Europe and things like that. I think they only brought in like 2,000. So you can find them. But yeah, like finding a good one is gonna be like why would I pay $40K for a good one?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna get a Corvette for half that, And so that's where I struggle with. That's where I struggle with. And Evos are kind of the same way. It's like, man, do I want to like build a motor and do all this stuff to have people do make great power on stock motors,
right?
But they're just finicky though.
Yeah.
For me to be like, all right, we're gonna go to a track day.
Now, is this one a stock motor car?
Yeah, it is stock motor.
Okay.
It's got a bigger turbo, but it's still got stock injectors and stuff like that. So it's basically a stock car, pretty much, with basic bolt-ons. So
yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah,
that's a tough one.
I know, but I'll
decisions.
I'll figure it out. So all right, so 1 to 2 cars that are cheap now, but that you believe will appreciate.
Oh my goodness, that is a great question. That's an amazing question because I think I was just reading an article. Now I don't remember what cars are in it. I think it was Haggerty.
Oh yeah, I got all the Haggerty
Yeah, and they had a question about that same thing, which is like, what are your future classics like now?
Cars that are, I would say, cars that are cheap now, cars that are probably overlooked now. Everybody's on the C6 Z06 train. They're still on like GTR Super Train, stuff like that, NSXs, RX-7s, but.
I wouldn't say it's cheap, but I do think the Supra is probably going to be there because it's got a B58 and the kids.
Oh, the Mark V Supra.
Yeah, the Mark V Supra. I think that car is not cheap now, but I do think it's going to be a classic eventually.
Do you think B58 cars in general will be, or do you think the Supra specifically? Because the B58 also came in the 340, M340.
Yeah. I think the Supra specifically, but then now that you kind of expand the list.
Because I mean,
if
you want a manual in B58, you have to get a Supra or a 340.
Right.
Because you couldn't get a manual M340.
Could you get a manual 240?
Oh yeah, you could. You could get a manual
the 240. Maybe the 240 and the 340 might be there too.
Okay.
240 and 340 might be there.
I do think the B58 is going to age well as like one of those
Yeah.
Oh, but okay, Mark V Supra. Yeah, I mean, I would say I haven't really looked at the market, but I feel like you could find one for under 40 now.
Yeah. They're not cheap. Don't get me wrong. They're not cheap. I just think that's probably when.
It's actually a car. Maybe I should look into one of those.
Oh, what, a Supra?
Yeah. I haven't really. I mean, we have a 340 now, which has been pretty
You can always hit up Justin Wynn. He still has his.
Have you been in it?
I've been in it.
How's it feel?
That's
pretty
nice. Good? Yeah, that's a nice car. Car. But he's got coils on his and BBSs and all that stuff now.
Yeah, I saw it at the BBS show. It looks spectacular. Shout out to Justin.
Yeah.
How does it? So your C7's fresh in my mind. So how does it compare to? I know it's a little bit newer, but how does it compare to that experience?
I don't know. I mean, I think we just went around the block or something, but performance wise, I mean, a Supra with a tune is probably the same, if not quicker.
I mean, B58's a beast, bro. And that's a Gen 2 B58.
Yeah, so I don't think there's much in between them. Now, if you were to say on the very edge of performance, the Corvette's probably going to be the winner because it's a very dedicated platform that is built to a level of performance the Supra wasn't made for.
Really?
You're getting it in the C7, which is technically designed as a 750. They always design the cars.
Oh, they designed it for like the ZR1.
Yeah, and then kind of like backwards.
That's a very interesting perspective. I wasn't even thinking about that. I was thinking of if you look at, we were talking about earlier, like the lineage of the Corvettes, like C5, C6, C7, the suspension geometry, just the general architecture. It's like they've had 2 generations, and Corvettes have like long generational runs. So like they've had from 1997 until now to pretty much work on that recipe, whereas the Supra kind of went away for a number of years and then
and I mean back. And it's not to get BMW is still, they know how to design a car. Don't get me wrong.
The Z4 isn't really,
but it's not like, it's the same thing with the 911. 911 is designed, you might buy a base 350 horsepower one, but let's be real, like the structure is designed, GT2 RS and whatever, that's what is really its edge case.
I got you.
So, but I think in general on the street, the Supra is right there.
Okay, well, I wanna we should definitely hit up Justin. I'd love to see him anyway, but we'll have to get together.
Yeah.
So okay, to answer my own question on 1 to 2 cars that I think are either cheap now or will appreciate. I would say the 350Z G35. I feel like they are in the same sort of category that like S13s and S14s were back when we were in college. Because before the drift tax and everything, they were like cool performance cars, but like nobody really cared.
I mean, it was only Tyler and Rob who were the only ones we really knew.
Oh yeah. Oh, I was talking about like the S14s, but
yeah. Okay.
But no, John Locke had
John Locke did have
the HRZ.
Yeah, he did.
But yeah, like those cars were like. There's a whole.
Do you think they've bottomed out now? Because to me, they got such a bad reputation now.
Yeah, but it's the same conversation I have with Hellcats and even Corvettes. It's an arbitrage opportunity.
Yeah, that's
right
true.
Because the stigma doesn't match the
actual
performance of the machine.
Yeah,
and if you look at what you're getting with like a 350Z, it's LSD, rear-wheel drive, manual. It's raw. It's engine. Reliable. Big engine.
Yeah.
Relatively lightweight.
Yeah.
235 is kind of heavy.
Yeah.
But like you get what I'm saying. It gives you all of the same driving characteristics from that era that we love.
And cheap upkeep, which the BMWs of the same era can't say.
Very cheap, bro. Yeah. They put VQs in everything.
They put VQs.
So people like hate on the sound because it's been like we've been over. We are like over the sound because you know what I mean. Like,
we've heard it for 20 years.
Exactly,
now.
But they actually sound pretty good. The 350Z, 370Z in a vacuum sound pretty good.
That's a very good shout.
So I think.
Let me think. If we're gonna go back to that era.
Oh, I mean, it's just whatever. It's wide open. So any car. That was just on my
mind. Oh man, you know what? That's a tough one. I'm only thinking because it's so hard to think of off the top of your head.
Oh, of course.
I don't think any of the Mustangs
in particular. First gen Coyotes, because 10K. If you're on the hunt, you can find a first gen manual Coyote for 10K. That's
I kind of put those on the same level as like a 5.0 Fox body. They'll probably stick around, but they won't appreciate a lot.
You don't think so? What, because they need a lot, or?
Yeah. I mean, just like this, it's just like the Fox body. Like they're good, solid cars. You can get a lot out of them and everything like that. Yeah, do you count them as being like special per se?
No. I mean, you have like there are versions.
Yes.
Right. So like the Salines, the Cobra, like the 93 Cobras, Cobra R, obviously. Yeah. So you have some. Yeah. But I agree. I agree with that.
Like. Yeah, from that era, like some of the GT500s from that era might end up appreciating eventually.
You think so? See,
maybe not the early ones. The early ones are dogs.
Well, the only GT500 that like the new ones I think are badass, but like the 2013, 2014 ones,
those are still going.
The Trinity motor ones,
those are still going for big money though.
But I feel like the ones like the
before that,
the 07 to 09, and then. Oh, but then you had like 10 to...
Those are the ones I think might be the opportunity. There's like 10, like right before the Trinity, but like, you remember there was kind of like that interim period?
Yes, I do. Yeah. They look like Trinities, but
they're not. Yeah. That might be one.
Yeah, I've never really been interested in those cars at all. You know what's so funny, bro? Like, there are two cars that I categorize as like being the catalyst for the car that came before it to appreciate. Mm-hmm. The RX-8 is one because when the RX-8 dropped,
I did not appreciate the RX-8.
Flocked to it.
Yeah.
And then they were like, this is trash. And then the FDRX-7 went to the moon.
Yeah.
Same thing kind of happened with the Evo 9 after the Evo 10 came out. But when the transition from the Terminator Cobra to the
GT500,
to the 07 to 09 GT500, I remember people like, oh, I got a new Shelby. And then they were like, I'm going back to the Terminator. The prices just went straight up.
Yeah. Because it wasn't that good of a performer. It was heavy and it had that big iron block 5.4 in the front. It just didn't have the power to separate itself from the Terminator. Like people were looking like.
Yeah, the Terminator made a statement when you think about like the 99 to 01 Cobra. And then you compare it to the Terminator. So maybe there's some of that. I always thought they didn't make the Shelby special enough. It didn't have like bespoke seats. It like when you got inside of it, it was base. Yes. It was like the base model Mustang.
Yeah.
It had stripes on a different hood. You know, it had like a little valence kind of thing in the rear, but like from a reasonable distance, it looked just like a GT.
Yeah. And then
that throws people off.
Yeah, and then the Coyote kind of took its shine too.
Yeah, I mean, full bolt on Coyote's faster.
Yeah, and like, so that was kind of embarrassing. Like it was like, why would I even? And the Coyotes handled better too.
Way better.
So I don't know. Okay, so G35 is a good shout. I like that pick. What's going for cheap these days though? That's another thing. What's going for cheap? I can't really tell you.
I have a controversial one. What do you think of yours? I think now I don't feel as fervently about this one as I do like the ZGs, but I think first gen N54 cars, a clean one. Ooh. I think a clean first gen, like well maintained N54 car will. The reason why I'm hesitant, so on one hand, I think because it kicked off the whole BMW turbocharged thing.
It did.
Because before that, everybody was just putting big, like inline sixes and V6s in those that.
Mine was a piece of crap, but let's go. They've probably all been fixed by now, but yeah, anyway.
But I don't know, it kind of kicked off like a whole movement. Yeah. But on the other side of it, BMW's just gotten better with it. So it's like, why would I get an N54 when I can get a B58? Even the N55 is a little bit better.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, if you look at like the ZGs, like you had the VQ35, VQ37, and then they went turbocharged. They went back to the 3-liter turbo. And so like you have that kind of era of vehicle, which kind of like pays homage to a time.
Right.
In the same way that an N54 kind of doesn't. Because it's like, I think it's one of the reasons why the F80 M3 will never be regarded as like I think the car will always be better than how people regard it because the G80 is just better.
Yeah.
It's like
the F80 was one of those cars I never could, and I've never driven one, but it was never one of those cars I was like, I gotta have one.
They're good. When they came out,
I know they're good.
They were sexy.
Yeah. But every review I read and everybody was like, man, it's good, but, and they would give
people said the same thing. People said the same thing about the C6Zs. I remember Jeremy Clarkson was pushing in the bumper and was talking they did. He was like, the only redeeming quality of this car is I can go 0 to 175 miles an hour in one gear. He's like, but this car is ass.
They did.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, so you have a point. You
get past the sound of the F80, again, people are going to skip over it because they're going to go either for the newest one, the G80, or they're going to go for the only V8 that they ever created, M3.
Right.
But car for car,
as a performance car, I can't really say anything bad about it. I mean, for a couple of bolt-ons and you're faster than the C6Z, right?
Yes.
So
yes.
You can't. I can't really say anything bad about that. That's kind of crazy.
But but you were saying, could you think of any more? Any car that you think people are?
And I don't know about. I don't know what the Subaru market looks like, but I think those might have a comeback if they're not coming back already. If it's like those, not the most recent WRXs, but kind of like those late 2000s, early 2010s.
The ones that had the Ringland issue, like where they had the hatchback STI, where they sold like 2 of them.
Yeah. I could maybe see those coming back. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. I think you might have a point. The hatchback STIs, because they only made like one generation of hatchback STIs, still pretty well regarded. If you find one that's like had the Ringland issue taken care of, that's like not rusted out, and like I've seen those trending in like the mid 30s, which is pretty good. But then you can also find a clapped out one that's like 12K.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I got one.
Right.
I do have one.
All right, let's go.
And it's always gonna be my favorite, one of my top cars. But I do think the Mark 7 GTI is going to be a future classic as well. Because the Mark 8 wasn't as good and the Mark 6 wasn't as good. That was like peak Volkswagen, really.
Mark 7?
Mark 7.
Yeah. Okay.
The market is bottoming out on those. You can find a lot of clapped out ones. You can find a lot of nice ones.
I've been looking at Marks. If I stumble on a Mark 7 TDI that's 6-speed manual, don't be surprised, dog.
Yeah.
I have spent a ton of time in Marks. Just The whole MQB platform.
It's such a good car, man. It's just such a good car. You get a couple of bolt-ons. You're at like 300 at the wheels.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It drives like a BMW, but
basic bolt-ons.
Basic bolt-ons. You don't have to you don't have to go like super overboard like a boy, but you know.
Shout out to JR.
Shout out to Jay. But even at a base level with like a couple of bolt-ons, it's still a really good car.
Yeah, I agree.
So I might see those.
You could see those being like the sweet spot of I feel like they also kind of define the generation.
Yeah,
for sure. And people,
I mean, look at the Mark IV or 32s now. I mean, literally,
that's a really good
car is going forward. You are not going to find one under 40 anymore.
When's the last time you've even seen a clean Mark IV? Just like generally speaking,
out on the street.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, it's been years.
Yeah, and they were like throwaway cars.
They were.
So it's cars like that, and I feel like the Mark VII is getting to the point now, like this, like you were talking about the owners, like the 4th and 5th owners.
Yeah.
Like, when those cars are 7 or 8K, and then we've all aged out, and we're like, dang, man, it'd be cool to have just a fun little, and then you can't find
Especially the R's. The R's are always going to go big money eventually. They'll bottom out because
I think so too. Because they're still like, I wouldn't call it raw, but it still pays homage to this era.
Yeah, exactly.
So and once we move on. Now, so it's actually a really good segue to the next thing on my list, which is what's a car that's overhyped? And I'll go ahead and answer that. I think the S3, well, I don't know if the S3 was hyped necessarily, but that was a car that I just never liked. And I've driven a lot of them.
Really?
Not a fan of the S3.
I never driven one, but I never got what the big deal was about him because the Golf R just does everything it does, but
way better. Way better. The S3 was just like
looks.
I never understood the S3, and also never understood why you couldn't just buy an A3 and then put a turbo on it.
Yeah,
Yeah, because like
I mean, I guess you're paying for okay, it's got a different all-wheel drive system, it's got bigger brakes. But the rest of that stuff, you can probably fill in the blanks.
Bro,
right?
You're not tracking an S3.
You're not. But
and it's going to understeer.
It is.
A lot.
It is.
You need a rear bar like that big to get that thing to turn in. Like, so all right.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that being an overrated car for sure, especially new. Like even new right now, they're running in the 50s. Like,
forget about it.
But I spend 50-some thousand on an S3
I'll buy
an
RS3. I buy an older RS3 before a new S3.
Yeah, exactly.
So what do you think? What's a car that's either hyped or a car that you never understood? You never got why people even considered it.
Well, most of it actually is funny. We were talking about the Evo and the WRX. I never got those cars.
You never understood them?
Never really understood them. I understood them in the context of, hey, these are trying to be street legal rally cars, right? But I never really got them as performance cars.
Okay.
I didn't really think they were like, out of this world or anything like that. Not to say that they aren't. Like, there's a lot of high performing ones. I've seen them in person and respect them, but that wasn't a car I really ever got into.
I got you. Okay. So would you say hot hatches in general, or like those two?
No, I can't say hot because I love the GTIs. The Volkswagens are always going to be like, that's one of those cars that's always going to be like true to my heart. Yeah, which is a GTI. An overrated car. That's probably something Japanese. I know it is. That's just the way, honestly, overrated car. I always think in my head Japanese because you know what happened? It was very counterculture when we were growing up. Our generation and Gen X were so anti-American car because let's be honest, during the 80s and 90s, Americans did not make very good cars. You had to be really a big Chevy, Ford, Chrysler fan to be like, I'm sticking with them no matter what.
We're gonna get into it
because think about like mid 90s.
But I agree.
Think like mid 90s Mustang. 215 horsepower.
Yeah, but there's nothing that like, what did the Japanese? Okay, I'm gonna like put my foot in my own mouth because that's like the whole price point though. Because you're not gonna cross shop a Fox body with a Mark 3 or 4.
You're not. But I'm just saying, in general, their quality and the way they were built and everything, they just had a bad reputation back then.
I agree.
So
I agree.
Everybody always came up and they're always like, "Oh yeah, it's always about the Z's and the Supras and the RXs and."
I kind of felt that way too, which is why my dream car, like one of my dream build when I was a kid, was a Fox body that could like drive dynamically and not straight line stuff. So I get it. Like I remember pulling up to car meets and stuff in my Corvette, and people just like not caring at all.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been doing this Corvette thing for a long time.
Yeah.
And like 15 years ago, people did not like, they didn't care. And I actually liked the fact that I could be under the, like, kind of fly under the radar. And I'm like, bro, we all have friends that, no disrespect, but they would, spend all of their money on this EK hatch, doing a B swap or putting a VTEC head on a B20 block and having this trans and doing all this stuff. And I'm like, dog,
here we go.
I got a stock. Like,
here we go. You want to know what it is? I just thought of it. S2000.
I can't agree.
S2000.
S2000.
There's nothing about that. There's nothing to me. I get, everybody, this is like peak Honda, 9,000 RPM. Wow, Roadster, whatever.
He's coming for you, AP1 bros.
But even at the time, I wasn't like, okay, would I buy one over? You had the Z out at the same time.
Yeah.
You have the Corvette out at the same time.
Of course.
You have the RX-8 out at the same time. Mm-hmm. What else was in that price range? You had the Mustang. You had the Terminator out at the same time. Was in that price range.
Yeah. You had the Evo. You had the
Evo and the STI.
But yeah, same.
So to me, yeah, okay, that's a good sports car and whatever. But I'd be honest with you. I mean, if it wasn't for that engine, I would be hard pressed to even pick it over an NC Miata. Because I think the NC Miata as a platform isn't any worse by any means.
It's not as stiff.
Is it? I don't know.
Yeah. Wait, have I been in an NC Miata?
I loved my.
I've been in an Indeed. Maybe I haven't. I've been in an Indeed Miata, NA and NB. I don't.
NC was a good car.
I don't think I've been in NC. I don't think I've been in one. So maybe I can't comment on
to me,
but I have been in S2000s.
To me, that was one car. I was just like, shrug my shoulders, whatever.
Whatever. I always thought S2000s were super cool. And caveat is, I've never been one. Like if a car revved past 7,000 RPM, mm-hmm. but it was smaller displacement, mm-hmm. I never really cared that much.
Yeah.
Growing up, because I always liked cars that were more torquey. Mm-hmm. So like if you had a big V8 that revved to 7,500, I thought that was badass. But like, anyways, but the S2000 as a package, like, always did kind of appeal to me. And I always told myself, like, if I ever kind of got away from this, like, Mustang Corvette thing,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
S2000 has always been on the short list. In fact, when I told him my Mach 1, remember that car? The blue Mach?
Absolutely.
I was actually looking at S2000s. And I was like, but I ended up getting another Mustang because I was looking at, like, how do they run with full bolt-ons? And I was trying to price out like putting a bigger gear in the rear end. And I'm like, I'm trying to make this into a Mustang instead of enjoying it for what it's built for. So I ended up not getting one, which I probably should have because they were cheaper, at least to experience it.
They were.
But Dave Ian loves S2000s. And, once.
They look great hooked up. Don't get me wrong.
Once this takes off, I'll have one. Once we have our hangar,
fair enough.
One's gonna be in there.
Fair enough.
We'll have one in there.
I think that if I had to pick out one car just off the top of my head, that's probably
the S2000. But have you driven one?
No.
Okay.
So take this as a caveat. I haven't driven one, so maybe if I drive one, I'll change my mind. But just outside looking in.
I don't know. I think
that's on my list. Also, the WRX2.
Yeah, WRXs never spoke to me in the same way Evos did. Because Evo's always had this sharpness and this very like raw motorsporty feel. Mm-hmm. And WRXs always felt like they were missing something. Like they were trying to be like, okay, you're not built as well as a Honda Civic, like an SI.
Right.
But then you're not as like raw. Like the turn-in isn't as sharp as an Evo. It doesn't ride as stiff as an Evo. So it just felt in the middle.
Right.
It was like, obviously it was obviously the average of both of those.
Yeah.
And so it never spoke to me.
Yeah.
But
that's another one. I told you it would probably be Japanese.
I get it.
Those are on my top 2 list.
I get it.
Cars I just didn't get into.
I want to go back to S2000 real quick. I think if you cannot hop out of your C7 and get into an S2000 and appreciate it. I think you need to hop out of your Jetta, get into an S2000. No, seriously.
No. Hold on.
Get into the S2000. And I feel like
I appreciated my Miata plenty, so I think I could jump into S2000.
I'm just saying, like,
yeah.
So the S2000 feels like it feels like a smaller, more nimble, more like set up Corvette, like a factory kind of feel. Because the one that I drove wasn't. I don't think it had coilovers or anything like that. You're obviously not going to get into it expecting like a huge torque shove. Feels okay, higher up in the RPMs, but like dynamically, pretty good.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
And it's a car that you can steer. How do I say this? It's a car that you can steer easily without the steering wheel. So like with the brake and the gas, you can get the car to
move.
Yeah, you can make it move around a little bit in ways that like
Corvette would be like, man.
Corvette's not. I think it just has more mechanical grip. It's just bigger, and it's not going to do that.
Yeah.
More playful. I guess you could say more playful. But
I get it.
Okay.
So that's that. But that is those are my 2 cars.
But so I'll also say since we're kicking Honda right now, which I love Honda by the way, but I'll also say, and I mentioned this before, but the FK8 Type R to me was always overhyped.
Ooh.
Drove one. Now, I would love to drive an FL5.
Everybody says the FL5 is like the greatest front-wheel drive car in history.
They said the same thing about the FK8, and I drove it, and I was like, it did not do, I'm repeating myself, but it did not do anything that the Evo 8 or the Evo X hadn't been doing since 2008. Like, it was just hyped.
I can believe that.
It was just hyped.
Yeah.
And we test drove one, and then we bought a Focus RS. I'm just saying. Focus was better.
Ooh.
Fighting words.
Ooh.
Focus was, in my opinion, for the money. Because at the time, the Type R was like $8,000-$9,000 more for a comparable vehicle. Dollar for dollar, we probably would have bought the Honda because I think Davian liked the Honda more.
Yeah.
But even still, the Honda was probably the better car. Focus, I would still say dollar for dollar was the better, straight performance. Focus was the better car.
Huh. Interesting.
That's another. I don't know if they'll.
Yeah, I didn't drive that car.
You didn't?
No.
It was fun.
I remember that. I remember all the reviews of Focus RS saying it was fun, but they said the ride was just punishing.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like the Focus RS was a legitimate sports car that had Focus clothing. Yeah, but it was not a Focus. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. It was way more Evo-like than like Honda Subaru like.
Right.
Like it was turn-in was sharp. The ride was really harsh. Biggest detractor to the Focus was the fact that the way that the all-wheel drive system would impede wouldn't do it the same way every time. So I could hit the same corner.
Right.
And it's because I'm not hitting it the exact same way. So the car is taking all of these variables, and so it gives me something a little bit different. But it's just not what
you weren't expecting.
Exactly.
But the Evo does.
Well, the Evo just feels more mechanical.
Yeah.
So maybe it just has a wider range of acceptance to where if I, I'm not Verstappen, so I'm not going to be as, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be as consistent as these guys.
Right.
And maybe the Focus just rewarded that level of perfection.
Yeah.
So I would turn in and it would do something. Then I'd approach it in my mind the same way and it would do something. Just, I could never get beyond intense and be comfortable with it.
Yeah. Which is a big part of, I think, a very underrated part of driving a car. And I think, especially for higher end cars, the Corvette always had a bad reputation for that. People couldn't get, especially C5 and C6, they just couldn't get the grips. And the C7, actually, the higher power C7, they couldn't get to grips with how they handle that very 8, 9, 10 tenths,
It's a window.
It is some cars have a bigger window than others.
Yes.
Like a 911 or M3, you see these guys drift BMW straight off the lot, boy. And it's it just looks easy. It's effortless, And some cars just, they're just built that way.
Yeah.
So I can understand that for sure.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's see. Okay. Oh, this is gonna be a good one. It's
Right.
probably gonna be better for you because you've driven a lot of stuff. What is the fastest car you've driven?
Oh, that's a good question. Because I haven't driven. Because it's funny. Cars have gotten so fast lately. I know 10 years ago fast.
Mm-hmm.
I know 10, 15 years ago fast. I don't know today's fast.
I mean,
today's fast is like, hey man, if you're not showing if you're not showing up with 1,500 wheel, like why are we even talking? Yeah, what are we doing? Like if you're not doing 60 to 130 in like 3 seconds, 3.5 seconds, 4 seconds, that's ridiculous. Like, so take for example, I remember the quickest probably car I drove was C6 Z06 supercharged, heads cam, all that stuff, 700 something at the wheels.
Oh wow!
Back then, those cars were running low 7s, high 6s, 60 to 130.
That's crazy.
That's not. But today, that's nothing. That is slow. A stock ZR1 today runs in the 4s.
Yeah, I watched a video right before you got here of an Evo 9 that did in like 3.8 seconds.
Yeah, that's fast. Yeah, that's fast. So my fast now, that was my fast. It was quick. Don't get me wrong. It's very fast. Yeah. I think any car really on the street over 400 horsepower, even at the crank,
is going to be strong.
If you can do mid to low 12s on the street, you're fast to me.
Yeah,
but that's not fast today. Really?
So you would say that Z06 that you mentioned was the fastest car you've been in?
Yeah.
Is that the one that Wale has now?
No.
Okay.
It's a different one.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I look forward to riding in his at some point because I'm sure it's still
that one's still pretty quick. That one I think it made like 640, 650 or something like that at the wheels. It's still pretty quick. Hopefully,
I've never been in a I've been in a ton of Corvettes, but never a fast one. Like not like a spicy nah. Never. A couple of like hits cam cars, but I've never been in this is like.
They're an interesting car. And again, now that they've got all these like boost by gear and traction control and stuff like that, I'm sure it's even way easier to handle. I'm like, because I love watching these videos of the C6 ZR1s, modded ones. And these guys are just one shift from 60 to like 150. It's like bang! And then it's like that car just takes off and you're like, wow, like 10 years ago there's no way anybody could have thought these cars could be they would have been
fighting it the whole way.
Yeah
that's another car I've never been in, a C6 ZR1.
C6 ZR1 is a fast fucking car even out of the box. It was faster than the C7 Z06 to me. It was a scary car
because you guys had both of them kind of around the same time. Yeah,
this C6 ZR1 at the top end was a scary fast car, monster. Especially at the time. At the time, there was nothing much touching it. To be honest, to me.
And it's crazy to believe that those cars before COVID had gotten down into like the 50s.
Yeah,
you could buy a C6. It wasn't like the rarest color mint one, but you could find a nice one, like a nice driver for 50, 55.
Yeah, not anymore.
Can you imagine?
No.
I'd have two of them. For sure.
Not anymore.
For sure I'd have
That's another car that kind of recovered. Kind of. I should have said it's recovered a lot.
Yeah, it's doubled. For sure. So, all right, fastest car I've ever driven. And I haven't driven a ton of like super fast stuff. Was probably it's probably the APR RS3. That we had. Funny story. So the car had just come out. So APR, I don't remember if they bought one or if it was like a customer's car. But they just threw all these like development parts on it and they were like data logging it and stuff. And they one of the calibration engineers, his name was Eric. Eric's super cool dude because he had a shout out to Eric. He had a Evo 9 at the time, but he also had like a supercharged SRT Jeep. So he just we spoke the same language, And so he was like, hey, so he came upstairs, and so you could obviously hear him like testing the car and stuff like down 280. And so when he came upstairs,
280,
people were like, hey, like, how's the car? What does it feel like? How's it going? Blah blah blah. And so he talked to us for a second. You remember Justin Gray?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so Justin, I guess hadn't been in the car at the time, and I hadn't either. And so Eric walks up to us and he's like, "Hey, you guys want to go for a ride? And so of course we're like, yeah, hell yeah. So he tosses Justin the keys and he's like, hey, go out, give it a rip. Like, don't be nice to it. He's like, I'm still logging it, so don't touch anything, but just go out and have fun. He said, and let Daniel drive it on the way back. That's what he said. Justin's like, bet. We hop in, goes out, makes these pulls. Obviously, it's all-wheel drive. The car is boogieing. Car is straight boogie. And I drove the C6Z like to work that day.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you how fast that car was. When I drove home, as I was getting on 85, I think it was, I would always like drop a gear and like hammer the Corvette a little bit.
Yeah.
And I was like, is my clutch slipping? Like, what the fuck? It was a stock C6Z, but still
fast. Yeah.
And I'm like, that's when I knew, like, okay, that car was fast. So anyways, Justin makes some pulls, then I make some pulls. And I'm like, he didn't give us any context on how much power the car made or anything like that. And so I'm just like, man, like this feels really, really strong.
Yeah.
And a few days later, the car went like 9.1 and like 158.
What?
Yes. And I was like, oh, that's why I felt like that. That's the fastest car I've driven.
That's a legitimately fast car. Was
like the closest thing.
That's crazy.
The closest experience I've ever had to that. Well, I didn't drive this car, just rode in it. It was a Model S Plaid. And the Plaid probably pulled a little bit harder. But Plaid's just bigger, and it's instant. Plaids. So it's just a different feel. But like, I mean,
that's Plaid, what I'm saying. So I haven't driven, I haven't been in any of the like Plaid. I need to drive some of those. I need to drive the actual fast cars.
Josh has a Plaid, and you'll get a ride. I haven't been in. I'm scared.
I need to get a ride.
But I
need to get a ride.
Yeah, it's
I need to just experience it once.
Shout out to Josh.
And maybe we talk about this later, but I'm not an anti-EV guy by any means. I'm actually pro-EV.
We could
as a car enthusiast.
So our boy Greg P. He just picked up a new machine.
Yep.
Yes. So he brought it over.
Got the Ioniq 5N.
Yes, I haven't been in it yet, but 4th of July is coming back, so we'll get to hang out.
Yeah.
And, maybe we'll get to ride. Will you be around then?
Yeah, I'll be here.
Yeah. So we'll get to maybe ride in it then. But yeah. So thoughts on EVs? Thoughts on the 5N? Thoughts on the new 6N that's dropping?
I wish that 6N's a nasty car.
6N's
I really want one really bad. Of course, it's probably going to be about $70,000 or so. So and of course, I already bought a car, but I would definitely go out and buy one. It would be a very legitimate competition between that, a M3 CT4 Blackwing, and that class of cars. I think it competes. I think it had no problem competing with those cars at all.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've never been in like a track focused EV, but just reading all the reviews and stuff on like the 5N.
Yeah, and I have not seen one bad review on that car yet.
Didn't Misha put one on the Nürburgring and it didn't overheat?
Yeah.
Speaking of which, he has a C6Z now, so he's not
in
the C6Z market.
And
guys who wouldn't even care about him are now like, oh,
I know. But I'm glad he's truthful about the car.
Yeah, he is. He's like, it's the best and the worst at the same time.
Yeah, because this is another thing this is a thing going back to the Corvette, things that was weak in aerodynamics and cooling.
Yes.
Now the C7 fixed the aerodynamics part, and cooling. The Z51s and the ZR1s were fine. The Z06s needed some help. They just didn't have enough from the factory. But those are the type of stuff that Porsche you just don't. You don't have to deal with it. They just come out of the box
ready to go. So all right. So
anyway, I don't want to get on a diatribe there.
I don't want to get too far off a tangent. So okay. So EVs. All right. So 6N aside, because that's. Should be badass if we look at what the 5N's done, but it's going to be expensive. So you said you're not anti-EV. So would you replace the Jetta with an EV?
Yes.
Or would you replace the Corvette with an EV?
I would replace the Jetta. I would replace the Jetta with an EV.
With what?
Well, I don't like Teslas. And I know Jay is probably going to jump through the screen.
He's rolling over wherever he is right now, mad. Shout out to Jay.
The only problem, bro. I don't have a problem with Tesla's technology or anything. They are very to me, their ride and handling characteristics are bad compared to other cars in the price range. Like if you drive a comparable BMW compared to a Tesla, you're like, the BMW is light years ahead in terms of riding and feel to me.
Okay.
Now, Tesla has worked at this stuff year over year to try to get it better or whatever. But you get in a Model 3, ride in the back of a Model 3, and you're like, okay, dude, this feels like some economy car, like a Cobalt or something. Just in terms of ride quality and just like, you're even, and I know behind the wheel, I know they can handle, I know they can turn. They're really good performance cars when you really do start to lean on them and stuff, but they're not there yet. So to me, I would probably not buy a Tesla. What would I buy? That's a good question. What would I buy? I drove the Cadillacs are actually very nice. GM makes a very good EV. Surprisingly enough. The Vista, well, what did I drove? I drove the Optic.
I don't even know what that is.
They got the Optic. What's the mid-size one? They have the Optic,
car, right?
the Vistic. No, they're SUVs.
Okay.
The Optic, the Vistic, the Escalade IQ. What's the middle one that everybody buys? Oh my goodness.
How do you spell Vistic?
VISTIQ.
What's with the Qs?
That was their signifier for electric, basically.
Oh
my goodness. What's the mid-size one? They just released a V version of it I really like.
You only own. I didn't even know this was a thing. The
Escalade IQ is one of my favorite trucks. Oh my god, that thing's a beast. It weighs like 8,000 pounds.
I've seen the Escalade.
But that thing, you get inside of it, you're just like, oh my god.
Yeah, but is it $200K? How much is that thing?
I think they're like 130 to 150 typically. You can probably get some. You can probably get some. Yeah, you can probably get some big discounts these days. So
no love for the Hummer.
No, I'm not a big Hummer guy.
What'd you say the other one was? So I saw the Vistic.
They have a mid-size one that I liked.
The Lyric is.
Yeah, the Lyric.
Oh, that's what you're thinking of.
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of.
No, you said one first. You said the Vistic, and there was another one you said.
Optic.
Optic.
Which is a small one. So GM makes a decent, and everybody gets the Equinox. Equinox is probably right up my alley. If I had to do a 1-to-1 trade, the Equinox is really cheap and it's good.
I don't know if I've seen an Optic.
Yeah.
But it's pretty good, you say?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what all right, so
I probably would buy, honestly, if it was a 1-to-1 trade and I needed another cheap car, I would probably go buy Equinox and use their stupid low. They're like 20 grand now.
Okay, so my question to you is, what qualities does an Equinox have?
It's just a
Model Y doesn't have.
I can't say. They're not at the same price point. Equinox is cheaper.
Really? Because I feel like you could find like a dual motor Model Y for like $20K. Around.
Maybe.
Around.
Equinox, I mean, I'm talking like year-old models. Like they don't keep their value at all.
Oh, so you telling me I can't go buy like a 2024, 2025 Equinox EV for like $20K?
Yeah, like 25K, like 25 maybe. I mean, they're stupid deals. Like you got to look them up. Like you'd be surprised.
So I wonder why people are just flocking to the Tesla and not really, because there are other EVs that exist.
Because Tesla has the entire network.
Share,
You have the network. They're a good deal. And the technology is top of class. There's no way you can say that Tesla doesn't have the technology that is appealing to most customers. You got the self-driving, you've got the cameras, you've got the supercharger network. I don't have to worry about that stuff. You got all the tips and the tricks and all the crazy stuff you can do in there.
But
people love that stuff.
Can't use a Tesla.
And they get good range. And they have good range.
Yeah, the range part for sure.
The range part's important.
But can't you use like the Tesla network with other vehicles though?
You can now, yeah.
Okay.
So it's not a big a deal. But
I got you. Because I was wondering like how do people? Because when I see a charging station, it's like almost always like Tesla. So I was wondering like. How do they just charge at home?
Yeah, you can get an adapter now. But everybody usually is charging at home.
Yeah.
Or I say Equinox. He could get a Bolt, but Bolt's a little bit.
Bolts are cheap. They should be real cheap.
Yeah,
they've been out a while,
and they got a new one. They're only making for like 2 years, so you could get one of those.
What was remember the two-door Cadillac EV?
Yeah,
or was it a hybrid?
Yeah, I actually saw one. Oh my God!
What was
Publix.
ELR?
Yeah, it was the ELR. It was a black woman driving it, older black woman driving one. I was like, hey,
wait, was that an EV or was that a hybrid?
I think it was. I think it was an EV, wasn't it?
I thought it was an EV, but now I'm questioning myself. Now I'm like,
were the early Bolts? Were they always EVs?
I thought the early were like real small, like looked like Sonics kind of. I thought those were EVs.
Yeah, then it was an EV.
Okay.
It was an EV.
I'm sure
that's what it was.
I'm sure they'll let us know in the comments.
Yeah. But yeah, like, I mean, what do the Germans have? I mean, Volkswagen's got a couple of them. I don't really like their cars.
Yeah. Mercedes has
their luxury model, which I really like, but they wouldn't be a 1-to-1 replacement for a Jetta, right?
You might as well get a 6N for what those probably
exactly. And so then
even BMW, I don't think they got the
They have i4.
The i4.
Yeah, which is a good car. Not a lot of range.
I heard the i3 was good too. It's older now, right?
Yeah.
But
i5 is okay. i7. My uncle just got rid of his i7. That thing was. Now you want to talk about like a luxury experience?
Yeah.
The i7 was
It was good.
That was car, but the new 7 Series is the same size as a Rolls Royce, so it drives like one.
Those cars just look heavy and substantial.
They are.
Like the doors probably sound like a vault closing or something.
Now that car was a beast.
Yeah.
For sure. So you want to get into that range, then the equations kind of change. But down the lower end, yeah, Chevy makes some good ones. Of course, you got Tesla. You got Toyota doesn't really take it seriously. They got
hybrids and stuff.
And they've got a couple of EVs now, but I still don't think they really.
Yeah, I feel
it's
like
not really their
they're
thing.
just gonna keep their money in like the Prius and stuff like that.
Yeah. So
for me, I don't know. Would I buy an EV? Yeah, I would. The easy button, like assuming that I had, one or both of my enthusiast cars that I currently have, probably a Model Y Performance, just because of. It didn't really have to be a performance because I'm not really gonna use it for that. But
they're fast.
Yeah,
I have no.
They're
legitimately fast.
They're strong. So my issue with Tesla is a little bit different from yours. My issue is that Tesla does a really good job of like muting the driving experience. So it's like for people that don't really want or like driving, and but you have to. It's still integral to life. Like buy a Tesla, and it does a really good job of like taking you away from it as much as possible, especially if you get one with FSD.
Yeah.
But I like driving. And when I'm in, so it feels like a chore to be in one more so than it does for me to be like in something a little more visceral, even if I am in stop and go traffic. So for that reason, I would, if I had the budget, I would probably get like a 5N.
Yeah.
Or 6N, obviously. But yeah, like 25K. Honestly, bro, I've been kind of eyeing like cheap Model 3, like single motor, like whatever. They're like 8. I've seen some for like 8,000-9,000.
They're not.
Like,
they're not.
I don't need a fast.
They're not bad cars.
Give me that.
They're reliable. I mean, I've seen plenty of them run out 200-something thousand miles, no problem. So, my main thing is I don't like. There's just a lot of myths and a lot of like anti-EV stuff out there that people have ascribed themselves to and convinced themselves of that really isn't true. Yeah, battery packs are going to fail within 10 years. No one's that really is not true.
Variables, bro. Like,
these are bad for the environment. They're worse for the environment than gas cars. No, they're not. Like we start getting into stuff like that, and then people have starting to
like Elon.
Yeah, I don't like Elon, but I don't think people are anti-EV because they don't like Elon. They just go buy other EVs. They just hate Elon. But I think there's a lot of people who just see them as like political statements, and really they're not. They're just alternative forms of transport. And I really don't see what the big deal is.
Yeah. I mean, on one hand, I understand if you don't agree with whatever Elon's got going on, maybe you wouldn't support his company. But at the same time, if you go buy a used one, then it's like,
what's the difference?
I mean, well, he's not getting that money.
That's true.
I mean,
That's true.
I guess maybe he kind of is from like the charging network, but like not from the purchase of the vehicle.
No. You're right. So, you're right.
Okay. So, all right. So one more question, and then maybe we can stop just to make sure it doesn't do anything weird.
Yeah.
And I may have to edit this out because I don't know how I feel about cursing, but what I wrote was, oh shit, there are levels to this moment.
Okay.
And I can give you one just to kind of give you an idea what I mean. I went to Petit Le Mans one year, maybe 2018, I think 2019. And there was a guy that had
wait a minute. You went to Corsa Clienti the other day.
I did.
Tell that story after this. Go ahead. Because I didn't go, and I need to know about that.
So we'll pause, and then I'll pick up with that story. So yeah, I went to Petit Le Mans, and there was a guy, bro. And obviously, Petit Le Mans, you have like the corrals where you have like the Corvette guys, Porsche guys, whatever. And so you see you see all sorts of cars.
Mm-hmm.
There was one guy. He had an RV, one of the RVs that had like the compartment for the car that could slide out. And he had a Ford GT. There was a GT2. There was a GT2 RS that was sitting outside. I don't know how it got there, but it was sitting outside of the same RV. And then there was a new Ford GT that was like the little platform that you pull the car on was extended, so you could see that it was under the RV.
Yeah.
And so it was just out, and I was just like. that was my shit. Maybe I'm poor. You're like,
Trust me.
Levels.
Yeah.
So that's the one that like really stood out to me. How about you?
I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to think of somebody like off the top of my head,
or it could just be an experience or something. You're just like, shoo.
No, like well, it's funny.
Dude's different, or that woman's different.
It was funny. I remember coming back from Miami one time when I got caught up in a cannonball run.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Were you in something cool?
No, I wasn't. I was in my Volkswagen. I think, what was I driving at the time? I think I had my CC at the time.
Oh, damn. Shout out to the black one.
Yeah, shout out to the CC. I drove it. I think we drove it down to Miami and came back. But I got caught up in some crazy cannonball run. And you were just like, and these are guys like coming out of Europe. They were like right-hand drive. Like there was like a 6x6 Brabus, like
big bucks.
Yeah, Enzos and Carrera GTs and stuff like that. And you're just like, all right, well, you guys don't care about money because you don't care. You brought your cars overseas to Miami to race them,
to do
illegal stuff. And I was like, you know what? Levels. That's different.
That's definitely one for you. Damn.
I need to, you know what? I took a few pictures. I need to see if I can find them.
All right. So yeah, we'll take a quick break, and then I use yours from anyway, and then we'll. How do you exist in the moment?
That's a tough question, man. I mean, it is a tough question. I think for me, I have to make an active effort to remain present and just say, here's what's happening now. That's it. That's all you can do. I can't acknowledge that this is reality. Because if you start going too far out,
it's important to project out, but I think you still have to have a sense of have to have a sense of now.
You should. And for me, what I do is I write my goals out usually for the next couple of months or the year. Usually at the beginning of the year, I'll write my goals out.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And I try to do that every year. And I have a whiteboard I'll write them on, or sometimes I put it in my computer and I never read it. I might go back. Sometimes I go back like 2 years later and I'll read it and see if I hit them. But every year I try to make an effort to do that. But as I've gotten older, I've tried to just leave them. I'll write them out. I know what my goals are. And I'll try to just leave them there. Because if I keep looking at them and I don't hit them, you keep reminding yourself.
Like failure.
Yeah, you're like I'm keeping things. Yeah, but if you're like, hey, I've internalized them, but today is today. I know I'm working towards them. I acknowledge that I'm working towards them. There's no reason to keep thinking about it.
We got to treat it like a GPS and not like a checkbox, right? Yeah. Not like a success or failure. Because it's like, if you say, I'm going to go to work, you put it in your GPS, you get rerouted, you don't think it's a failure.
Right.
You don't even categorize it that way. Another example is like you take a running back. Like a running back gets the ball and he needs to get you 3 yards, probably going to get you 3 yards.
Right.
Running back gets the ball and needs to get you 25 yards, he's probably going to get you 3 yards. And the point I'm making is every play isn't designed for you to score.
Right.
And so if there was a kid who wanted to be a running back and was mad that he got tackled, generally speaking, or mad that he didn't score on every single play, it's a pretty abysmal way of thinking about things. And you're like, hey, man, well, this play is setting you up for the big play.
Right.
And but a running back gets hit 40 times in a game and doesn't think about it as failure. Like there are obviously certain.
You have to, yes. But it goes back to us acknowledging your small wins and just acknowledging, hey, I did something today.
Yeah.
It could be small. It could be extremely small, but you just have to, I think living in the present is a thing
it's a skill.
Yeah, it's very much a skill. And it's funny, this is a little bit of a tangential thing, but at one point I went to a Buddhist temple a couple of times. Now it's closed now, but it was in West Midtown. They had a big building. It was huge. But one of their things was trying to live in the moment. And they would have a chant they would do, which was like Nam-myoho Renge Kyo. And it was just a centering chant to bring you to here.
To the moment.
That was like the entire point, was just bring you here to acknowledge, hey, I'm living and whatever. And I actually took that with me. I didn't like stay there or whatever. I went to a couple of sessions. I just wanted to see what it was like. But that's one thing I did bring with me, is like, you need to have something that can help bring you back to.
That's so cool. Like I've definitely heard of chants. I've also heard of people doing like with their fingers. They do like this weird thing with their finger.
Yeah.
And it brings them back to the moment.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And I've tried it, but then I'm like, I'm just doing my finger and I still do it.
But I think that's one of the things, like, in order to keep you got to find something to keep you centered. I think one of those, and another thing, they teach is acknowledging that life is suffering and that, things, your want of things and your need to do things is causing you suffering. Just acknowledge that.
Sadhguru, shout out to Davienne. She, even now she still listens to Sadhguru.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what Sadhguru is?
Mm-mm.
I'll have to send you some stuff. He's a older Indian guy, kind of shares like tidbits and wisdoms and stuff. But one of the things that he said was, I think he told the story of this girl who was from the outside looking in, she was very successful, but she ended up killing herself. And he said because she was suffering from her own intelligence, because she had this hyperactive mind and she just wasn't reaching whatever goal she thought she should reach at the time she should reach it. And he's just like, yeah, you gotta figure out how to turn that off. Which is pretty much what you're saying.
Yeah.
You got to find a way to reset.
That's extremely difficult.
Oh gosh.
Especially for people who are active thinkers like that. Yeah. Like I had an ex-girlfriend. She was like, I don't understand why you're so stressed. She's a doctor now. Shout out to Amber. You see this.
I feel like I think I remember her.
And my friend, I have a couple more friends, a lot of my friends are like that, where they don't necessarily, shout out to Jamar too, one of my best friend. They are able to stay they're not like super far thinkers. They're high achieving people, but they're able to keep themselves in a box in the moment. Whereas I couldn't, when I was in my 20s, there was just everything I thought was, I could think of like 50 different scenarios I thought were going to happen within the next day, and I couldn't turn it off. I admired people who were able to just kind of, I'm just going to turn the knob back a little bit, so I'm not.
Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah, I'm not there yet.
Yeah, no.
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, but part of it is just accepting. Like I've accepted that, like it's going to take some focus and some work.
Yeah, it does.
But that I'm not broken.
It's a gift and a curse.
Yeah.
It's a gift and a curse. Like some jobs require you and they reward you for being like that.
Mm-hmm.
You may be in that type of, we kind of gravitate towards positions that keep us, that align with, how our brains work and things like that.
Well, it certainly works out for them. So why wouldn't they want us to be in those situations?
Yeah.
You know, because we're always thinking about the next thing. You know, so it is a skill in certain contexts.
Yeah.
But then another context is just, well, I guess it's just like, what's the difference between anxiety and being alert or being aware, or you know, being proactive? You know what I mean? Like,
I think there's a fear component there.
There's certainly a fear component.
That's where the anxiety comes in.
But I think like if you can reframe, I would say 70% of it.
You could
in a different context, and it's like, oh wow, like he's got, you know, like, was that a premonition? Like, how did he know that was going to happen before it happened? Kind of thing.
Exactly.
And it's like, well, I've been living here for 6 months. You know,
so, I had already thought of this like way before you had.
So yeah. So all right, no, man, I think this is good.
Maybe I could do a podcast on this too.
I feel like we can bake it in. I think so. I'm going to maybe we just have like a lesson learned from car segment, and if we have some tangential points that are more mental health focused that don't really have anything to do with cars.
It's up to me.
A lot of my life lessons I've learned from cars. So it's truly like, and I can apply in other things just because it's like the whole reverting to the mean thing, and like I learned that from my C6Z, honestly.
Yeah.
Like I never wanted a material thing more than a C606.
Yeah.
And when I got one, like I always projected how amazing it was going to feel.
Mm-hmm.
Like champagne was going to fall from my head. Like my life was going to be different once I got my hands on this Corvette.
Yeah.
And I got one. And I was really happy for a little while. And then, not to say I was ever unhappy with the car.
I know, but
like you
the high comes off.
Yeah, you revert back to the mean, and then you're like, oh wow, maybe I should have invested this money, or maybe I should have, you know, whatever. But then you're like, oh,
I get that. I mean, that's somewhat buyer's remorse that everybody has, you know.
Yeah, I mean, but the point is,
you
it's
had built it up in your head.
Yeah, so like I can take from that with anything.
Yeah,
you know, because that material wise, I like. Before or since, I've never wanted anything like that. And I haven't wanted anything like that since, because it's like I've peeked behind the veil, so to say. And I know it's like, okay, it's less about what I do, but now it's more about how I do it.
Right.
And I learned all of that from a car purchase, you know?
Yeah.
So we can definitely like big stuff like that. And I think it still fits into the context of it.
Cool, man.
Yeah.